in this big warm-up, we're going to really try and get into the core, right? So what does the core comprise of? Pelvic floor, muscles of the transverse abdominals, deep multifidus, which is these small muscles along the spine that sort of kick in at first response at the thought of a movement. And we have also the diaphragm, so the breathing diaphragm. They all have to work together, right? You've got a ceiling, a floor, and the walls of your room. If one of those don't work properly, then the core doesn't work properly. So we have to make sure that we address all of that, okay? So we're gonna start by kneeling just to open up a little bit through the waist and the ribs and the diaphragm. If this is not comfortable for you, get yourself your yoga blocks. Comme ça. I like to put two, one on top of the other so my knees don't hurt. All right. And get comfortable on your sit bones. Make sure you can feel your sit bones. If not, you're sitting with your sit bones on your heels if your knees can take it. So you're going to start by letting go in the upper body. Relax the shoulders and let the belly go. So that means drop the belly out. This is the one time you get to really release the abdomen. We need to make sure first and foremost that everything is relaxed and released. If you're holding tension in any of those areas, being diaphragm, abdominals, pelvic floor, the core also will not contract because it's already tense and contracted. So we first have to let go, okay? So I want you to tell your pelvic floor to soften. I like to imagine a blooming flower around the anus, vagina area, and think of letting that flower bloom open and release. Very careful not to push. It's not a bearing down. Relaxing the belly, and then breathing now, trying to get the belly to move, inhaling and exhaling, letting the chest fall. Belly, chest, belly, release, chest falls. There's really no contraction that's conscious here. The only thing that's moving is your diaphragm. That's contracting and releasing on its own. Take a few more breaths just to get familiar with your breathing pattern. It's a relaxed out breath. Belly, sternum, ribs. Exhale, belly softens, sternum, ribs fall. And now we're going to take the arms out in front, and we're going to really try and get those shoulder blades to pull apart against your back. And then from here, inhale, lift, as if you're trying to bring the whole rib cage and shoulder blades with the arms. So this is where I'm going to tell you, bring your shoulders to your ears. And then exhale, let the shoulders fall, let the arms fall. So you're letting go of tension. Reaching forward, separate the shoulder blades. Inhale, pick the ribs up, pick the shoulders up. Exhale. And one more. This time reaching all the way up. Take a nice breath in at the top. And as you exhale, you're going to go in side bend, but you're going to think up, out of the lower back. Coming back, inhale, lift a little higher out of the ribs. Exhale to side bend the other way. Again, going up. Inhale. I like to imagine I'm holding a block or a ball. Exhale. Inhale. Up. Exhale. Good morning for those of you who've just walked in. We're all working on the core today, so we're going to work right here, the diaphragm, intercostals, rib cage movement, because that's very important. It's the ceiling of our core. And letting the arms come down, shoulders release. Wonderful. Now the diaphragm is literally like a trampoline, right, at the base of the rib cage. And like a jellyfish, it pulls up. It has literally tentacles, it's tendons. And it pulls on the spine, pulls on the organs, and even works into the pelvic floor. And then as it comes back down, that dome of the jellyfish comes back down. That's your inhale. It's really putting pressure on the organs and downward on the pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor kind of counterreacts and holds the organs in from falling, right? So I want you to have that image of your jellyfish by making a dome with your hands and placing it right there at the solar plexus. When you breathe in, your dome pulls down, and as you breathe out, it flops back up. So the ribs, like my elbows, fall on the exhale and open on the inhale. And now become aware of where you are on your sit bones. Continue breathing. Feel the right sit bone, feel the left sit bone, and massage the tissue down there. And then I want you to slowly rock forward and back between tailbone and pubic bone, as if you're trying to massage the tissue, that sling of pelvic floor muscles, from front to back. And you're continuing breathing. If it's too much the coordination with the arms, don't worry about it. If it helps, you can use your rolled up towel here. Place it on your blocks so that you're literally massaging the pelvic floor. You're softening the tissue and you're bringing blood to the area. So breathing in, breathing out. Rocking forward, breathing in, breathing out. And if you want, go side to side again. Breathing in, let one sit bone fall. Breathing out, bring it back. Breathing in, let the other sit bone fall. Breathing out, bring it back. So if these are your sit bones, inhale, one side goes down. You'll feel your waist lengthening. Exhale, sit bone comes back to level. Inhale, other one comes down. Exhale, back to center. Now what we're going to do is try and feel the pelvic floor and try and get it to contract. So I want you to soften up. Let that blooming flower open against your towel. And as you breathe out, right, so your dome comes up, your elbows come in, your ribs come in, you're going to pull up the pelvic floor. So we're going to work the two domes together. Breathing in, blooming flower, relax. Feel the pelvic floor soften on your towel. Breathing out, pick it all up. So squeeze anus, squeeze up, lift, and then slowly release and open. And if you place your hands on your lower belly and continue with that analogy of the two domes working together, you're going to start to feel your walls, your transverse abdominals, corseting inward on that exhale as you do your contraction of the pelvic floor. Inhale, there's an opening. Exhale, corseting. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Corseting. Now, this is good for Pilates work, for exercise. Day to day, the domes actually work in opposition. Okay, so when your diaphragm pulls down and you inhale, because it pushes on the organs, your pelvic floor has to pop up and support those organs from falling out, right? So you got sort of an approximation of the two domes, and then they release. That's day to day, just natural breathing, normal, right? But to strengthen and work the pelvic floor, to develop its endurance and its strength, when we work exercise, we're gonna go exhale, two domes together, inhale down. Now, there are different ways of working the pelvic floor. This is one way for what we're gonna do today, okay? So it's not right or wrong, it's just different method for different purpose. So now that you've felt the work of the entire core, right? The ceiling, the floor, the walls, you're gonna remove your towel. And just kneel again. Get to your comfortable position. And now we're going to go into more core width movement of the rib cage. We want to open up the diaphragm a little more. So you're going to take your hands, place them together, and push the palms out. Pulling the shoulder blades apart. Inhale, expand, lift the ribs, lift the shoulder blades. And as you exhale, stay up there now and pull up the pelvic floor muscles. So your corset pulls in, you feel what we call the hollowing of the belly. Keep that hollow and push the hands forward, rounding the back, and you keep zipping up your pelvic floor and you're hollowing the belly. To then inhale, release, and just sit tall. Let the blooming flower open, let the belly hang out. So we're gonna go again. I'll show you sideways. Breathing in. Stay there. Breathe out, Kegel and hollow. Corset. Inhale, keep hollowing, open up the spine to the back of the rib cage, back of the diaphragm, and then slowly release. Exhale. Inhale, pull everything up. Exhale, stay up there, pull up the pelvic floor, hollow belly, corset. Inhale, open up the back of the ribs, so you feel like you're inflating your back like a balloon. And exhale, just release, pelvic floor, corset, shoulders. One last one. Inhale, reach up, lift. Exhale, hollow, Kegel. Inhale, keep the Kegel, keep the hollow, and roll out the upper back. And relax, exhale. Very good. So from here, we're going to go into an exercise called Around the World, which we often do on the ladder barrel or on the reformer. So you're going to take those hands again, inhale all the way up, but this time I want you to Kegel, hollow, and roll backwards. So you're tucking your tail between your legs. Inhale, you're going to slowly lift up on one side, exhale, come back, keep tucking the tail. Inhale, lift up on the other side, exhale, come back. Inhale, pull up through the spine, exhale, release. Now that was a prep. We're going to add a twist. Inhale, press up. Now twist, exhale, zip up the belly. Inhale, grow a little taller. Exhale, do your Kegel, tuck the tail, roll back. Come back the other way, twisting to the other side. Inhale, pull your body up, restacking the spine, untwist, exhale, and release. That was complicated. We're gonna go the other way. Inhale, press up out of the ribs, lift. Twist, exhale, Kegel, corset the waist. Tuck the tail, roll back. Inhale. As you rotate to the other side, exhale, zip the waist a little deeper. Inhale, pull all the way back up in that twist. Through the spine, you're tall. Now exhale, untwist, and release. Well done. So we're going to go into a little bit more specific release of the diaphragm, more for the front. You're going to take your right hand, press forward, right? So I put my stop sign, turn my palms, press down with my fingers. Other hand comes to the shoulder or clavicle, and elbow comes up a little higher than your shoulder, and you're going to go and twist to try and get the rib cage to wring itself out, right? So we're going to hold the twist now. Your eyes are looking at the front hand. Breathing now, try and look for that balloon action of the ribs. Now you're consciously pushing the palm forward in the front and the back elbow back as far as you can. Try to keep your hips square and focus on how your ribs open and close like an accordion with every inhale and exhale. If you can't breathe here, back off just a little bit and make sure you feel that accordion movement. Now see if you can get a little taller through the top of the head. Push the ceiling with the top of the head. And notice if you're starting to wring your towel out a little more. You're twisting a little further. Now that we got that plastic change, we've gone further. Slowly unwind. and relax the arms. And we got to do that the other side. So here we go. Put a stop sign. Turn the palm. Push forward. Other hand to the clavicle, elbow a little higher than the shoulder. Twist, bringing the elbow back, pressing the palm forward, and hold. Your spine is long, you're pushing the ceiling. Have you noticed this looks like an L2? Yes. Very good for the diaphragm. You cannot work your core if your diaphragm is not moving effectively. So breathing, trying to look forward all the time. Get that accordion-like movement through your rib cage. See if your inhale and exhale take you a little further eventually. You've got to really pull your elbow and your hand apart and press the ceiling with the top of your head. So grow tall. Send your sit bones downward into your heels or into your blocks. One more. I'm going further now. If you find that plastic change awesome, that's your cue to super slow come back. Well done. Okay, we're coming off the knees, yay. You're gonna go onto all fours. So, come onto all fours from here. We're gonna come down onto the elbows. Now you want your hips right above your knees. That way your sit bones are sticking out and up. Tailbone pulls up in the air like a happy dog. And if you wish, you can make a fist, one on top of the other, and rest your forehead there. Okay, so you're gonna let your pelvic floor soften, the belly hangs. And we want to really feel the movement across the sit bones now. So you're not going to look for movement that I can see or that you can literally feel, but you're going to try and pay attention now to the internal sensation of the movement of your sit bones towards each other and apart. So letting the belly hang, rest your forehead. On your exhale, Kegel, think of your two domes working together. Core sit through the abdominals and just feel that pull between the sit bones. Inhaling to open and release, letting the belly hang. Exhale, Kegel, blow the air out, feel the core sit and the sit bones attracted towards each other like magnets. Inhale, open and let go so the belly hangs. Now at the same time that you're doing this, you have your tailbone or your coccyx sitting here like happy dog, tail in the air when you breathe in. And as you exhale, you've got your tail pulling between the legs like scared dog, right? So as the sit bones come together, tailbone pulls in. So try and see if you can get those three bones working together. Again, you're feeling it on the inside. And now, if it helps, we want to increase the range of movement. So if you can, put your towel right above your sacrum so that you can feel now the movement of the sacrum relative to the sit bones and tailbone, because it's like a chain reaction. As you do your Kegel and contract, you're pulling the tail between your legs, but your sacrum is pulling up towards the ceiling as if it's lifting the towel. Right? So if I show you with my hand, exhale, tail pulls in, and the sacrum does this doming up. Inhale, release. Be very careful, it's not your rib cage that's moving. Hold the ribs in place and isolate that very low part of the spine, being the base of the spine, the sacrum between the two pelvis bones. And now we're going to take that a little further. You're going to take your forearms apart now, right? So we're no longer resting the head. On your next exhale, do your Kegel, contract, tail pulls in. Now keep going until you feel your lower back starting to lengthen. You feel hollow through the front of your body and convex through the back of your body. Inhaling to release. One more time. Inhaling to release. Walk the knees back a little bit. Now you're going to take that into a plank. So initiating with the exhale, Kegel, hollow belly, slide that tail between your legs. Feel the sacrum move, the lower back. And now with that,
You're going to inch your way forward, bringing the pelvis towards the floor. Your weight now is in your forearms. And then releasing, tail back up, belly hangs, inhale, move back. Let's try that again together. Exhale, Kegel, tuck, hollow belly. Bring the pelvis forward, pelvis towards the floor. Tail stays tucked in. I feel hollow in the front. Release, inhale. One more. And inhale. So let's see if we can do that up on your hands. Exactly the same thing. From here, press the floor away, support your shoulders nice and wide against your back. And then exhale, Kegel, tuck the tail. Hollow belly, sit bones draw towards each other, pelvis moves towards the floor. I hold my high plank to then release the belly, release the sit bones back wide and up. Inhale, back up. So this is what I call the undulation of the spine. So from this curved round hollow body, I go back towards extension and inhale, release back, sit bones up. Hold on to your pelvic floor as you move forward. And inhale, release back. Now if you want, you can try this on your feet. So let's first go into a downward dog. So tuck the toes under, sit bones up and wide. Exhale, scoop the belly in, lift the knees, lean back. From here, sit bones reach up as I reach the heels down. Now if I initiate with my tail, tucking in on that exhale, you're going to feel your sit bones coming together. Your glutes are going to contract now because your legs are straight. Coming forward with the pelvis, I come to this hollow body plank to then release the spine in the upper back. Head comes out. Release the sit bones, the tail back up to lean back into your downward dog and bring the heels to the floor for your stretch. Exhale, Kegel, hollow belly, corset. Sit bones together, tail in. Glutes contract, hips come forward. Hollow belly all the time. I'm leaning forward now into my hands. Roll out the spine and release. Inhale. See if you can make that now a little quicker. As long as you don't lose the quality of your movement. One more. And then take a break, knees to the floor. So we're going to add some strengthening to that. So remember, we have the core muscles that are deep, which we've just worked, but you also have superficial abdominal muscles, being the obliques and the rectus abdominals above, right, more superficially. So sometimes when we go into the strengthening part and we start to add these superficial muscles, the obliques and rectus, we switch off the ones on the inside. So we're going to try and hold everything together. So if you let go of your pelvic floor, don't worry, just try and get a contraction again, okay? So going back to the downward dog, tucking the toes, press back, lift the sit bones, lower the heels. Inhale, prepare, and as you exhale, Kegel, slide that tail in. And go to your hollow body plank. Holding the pelvis in your pelvic tilt with the pelvic floor contracted. Hollow corset, bring the right knee in between your elbows and hold. Every exhale, double check that your deep core muscles are still held on tight. I'm trembling, it's hard for me too. Slowly release, take a break, release the sit bones wide, release the belly, and let's go again. Tuck the tail, Kegel. Get that magnetic connection between the sit bones. Hold. Other knee comes forward between the arms. Belly in, corset deepens to then release, release, sit bones up, heels down, and let go.
Great. So you can take a water break here, and we're going to be lying on the back now to work pelvic stabilization. So if you have a rolled up towel or a yoga block, you can use it now and place it underneath your pelvis. If you don't, it's okay, you can do all of this without. But if you have one, it's nice because you're on this decline and you're letting the organs sort of fall out of the pelvis. So the pelvic floor now can work without so much pressure on it. Now, we're going to go into a little pelvic tilt. As you did on all fours, Kegel, hollow belly, corset. Remember your domes here working together. And notice there's a movement up and down through the spine. And this is because we're working more maximally. So I want you now to tone down the contraction. Find neutral pelvis and spine. So you're sort of in between your two extremes. And now work at maybe 20-30% of your contraction that you did before. So now you feel it more on the inside, your two domes, but at a much lower level. And now your corset comes in just enough to stabilize your position. You're not creating this big tail tuck, right? Your challenge now is to hold the contraction, 20-30%, and continue breathing. Guide the air now a little higher and wider into the ribs, so you feel like your intercostals, the ribs are moving open and closed like gills of a fish or like an accordion. So you're holding your corset, neutral pelvis, neutral spine. Inhale, expand the ribs. Exhale, deflate. Now the challenge here is to keep stable using those deep core muscles as you lift one leg up. So next exhale, core, lift one leg. Pause, inhale. Exhale, core, lower the leg. Inhale. Exhale, core, lift one leg. Inhale, pause. Exhale, core, lower the leg. Now be conscious that you don't pop the belly. You want to really feel that corset of muscles zipping inward and flattening in towards the spine subtly. So let's see if we can lift also the second leg. Exhale when you're ready. Zip, domes work, lift. Pause. Next exhale, deepen and lift. Make sure there's no doming. Exhale, first leg goes down. And second leg goes down. Again, start with the second leg. Exhale, core, sit, and second leg. One leg down. Breathe. Exhale, second leg down. Now we're going to challenge the stability of the pelvis now also against rotation. So we're going to work the obliques. So we want to make sure first we have our deep core muscles activated, and then letting one knee fall out to the side, only as far as I can keep my pelvis level. So you want to imagine there's a marble on your belly button, and you don't want to tip the pelvis and let the marble roll. Let's try the other side. I connect my core with the exhale, and come back, inhale. Now you can reverse the breath here, no problem. Just make sure you're holding your 20-30% and breathing into the rib cage. If you tip over with the pelvis, you've taken the leg too far. Make your movement small and pay attention to the subtle movements that are happening in your body. So we're finishing with one more each side. So we're finishing here and then the other. And come back. Now, if you have a towel underneath you, great. It's going to help because we're going into a reverse curl.
So bringing the legs up. Remember now when we do a reverse curl, we're trying to bring, if I show you with my legs down, we're trying to bring the hip towards the rib, closing the gap in the waist. So this is where we kegel and work maximally to zip the belly muscles in, to tuck the tail between the legs, so our scared dog. Beginners, try one leg up and create your pelvic tilt and then switch legs. More advanced, both legs are up. Remember, we're not moving the legs in the hip joint. We want to take the pelvis and roll it. Think of what you did on all fours. As you kegeled and exhaled, you pulled that tail between the legs, you hollowed out the belly to create a pelvic tilt. Inhale, release. So the legs are following, not leading. Now, if this is enough for you, continue with this. If not, see if you can get that pelvis a little higher off the towel. You can use your arms to assist you against the floor, but initiate with that breath. Kegel, tuck the tail, hollow out the belly, sit bones close to each other, pick it up, and slowly come back down. Inhale when you've landed to release. So you're exhaling throughout the movement up and down, inhaling to release on the towel. More advanced again. You can take this into a rollover. So I'm going to demonstrate that. Kegel, and now inhale, release. And release. From here, we're going into bridge. So this will be the last exercise. So we're going to take the pillow or towel or block and place it between your knees. Walk the feet in so they're parallel. Same principle, pelvic tilt. So think of your exhale, your domes, your corset, sit bones, tailbone drawing in. And now press into the feet to access hamstrings and glutes to pick the pelvis up. We're staying here. Add an extra little connect the core and corset to then squeeze your towel 10 times. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hold on to the deep core, don't let go. When we use bigger muscle groups, we often let go of the core. So let's focus on the core. This will be our last one. Inhale. Next exhale, soften the sternum. Ribs come to the floor as you maintain that scared dog feeling. And roll down one vertebrae after the other. Ribs, waist, pelvis. Inhale, release, go to blooming flower. Well done. So we're going to take a seat to let go of the pelvic floor. Actually, you can sit at this time without any blocks or towels. We're going to open the knees. Feet together, knees open. Sitting nice and tall. Try and see if you can let go now of the pelvic floor. So you're going to let the pelvic floor hang. Think of your blooming flower. Belly releases. Think Buddha belly. Let the arms rest on your thighs. The shoulders hang. And go back to breathe in, belly, chest. Breathe out, belly softens, chest and ribs fall. Consciously relax the pelvic floor now. Remember, those are the deep muscles that we've worked today that support every movement. The minute you think of movement, the core should be waking up to prepare to support you during any kind of movement. When we work pelvic stabilization,
your goal is to support the neutral position of the pelvis and spine, so that when you go to lift heavy objects or do some kind of forceful activity, you learn where to place yourself in neutral and how to get those muscles to give you support while you go and push or lift a heavy object, for example. Okay? So if you can, take what you learned today and apply it to any kind of movement or exercise that you do. If you're doing cardio, just breathe normally and don't worry about the core. But if you're doing any kind of calisthenics or weightlifting or anything where you're actually lifting a kid up, you can start to think of your core to help you out there. What you want eventually is that it becomes automatic and not so thoughtful. All right? Have a great day. Namaste.